Without this, a man won't fully commit to you. We're going to dive into this today. It seems like many of the topics I talk about center around men and commitment because men seem to be commitment phobic. Men seem to be emotionally unavailable. Men seem to be emotionally constipated. And even a new term I've come up with, men seem to be emotional zombies. But there's a reason why this happens, and we're going to dive into this today. Now, before I do, I want to share with you a comment I recently got on one of my videos that I think might illustrate this conversation in a little bit more depth. And here's the comment. It goes like this. Modern day people see dating as recreational, something to do when you're bored or lonely. They have almost zero intention in being something real or long-term. I'm focusing on other things in my life that will actually yield long-term results. This type of dating is actually relatively new since the advent of dating apps since 2012. We were made for genuine connections. And what struck me about that is it certainly has shifted in the last decade and a half. Since the advent of swipe apps, I think it's marginalized people, and it's marginalized connection, it's marginalized love, it's marginalized relationships, excuse me. You see, wanting love or a connection is not the same as being open, ready, or capable of love or connection. Let me repeat that. Wanting some sort of connection doesn't necessarily make somebody ready or capable of connection. And I think one of the greatest challenges we're dealing with in today's modern dating is the fact that many human beings have been hurt in their past relationships. And since I predominantly talk to folks in midlife, and midlife is the after baby making years and before retirement, a significant percentage of people in this age demographic are divorced. And given that divorce is, and if you've watched my videos before, I talk about the unraveling of the tapestry of your life with another human being, it requires reintegrating into your life in a way that you feel whole, full, and sovereign. I'm going to repeat that: whole, full, and sovereign. Now, while we never get there, I think it's always something to aspire to. We have a significant percentage of people who are hurt from their past relationships. That's right. Wounded, unresolved past relationships. And because of that, we see a significant percentage of people that would prefer to have a what I call placeholder relationship than a true partnership because they haven't dealt with their wounds, whether it's their childhood wounds, whether it's their wounds from past relationships. Something I see significantly is people seem to think that if they enter into a new relationship, it will effectively dissolve the residue of a past relationship. Now, the other challenges I see in most human pair bonding is humans have difficulty overcoming differences. That's right, overcoming differences. You see, we all are going to have differences. In fact, I was watching a Mel Robbins video, and I believe she said 69% of couples are misaligned with one another. Now, they might be aligned in their core areas, but they have radical differences. Maybe one person is sloppy. Maybe one person is a night owl. Maybe one person likes to be bougie and fancy, and the other person would prefer to be raggedy and casual. These differences is what oftentimes causes some problems in relationships because they don't know how to navigate their differences. Now, one of the things is in the early stage of dating, differences could be either red flags or deal breakers, the way we operate in relationships. But if we have let me differentiate. A deal breaker is a deal breaker. Just like for me, anyone who smokes is a deal breaker. That's something I don't want to be around. But something else could be a red flag. Let me use a friend of mine who's he's a little bit of an angry driver. By the way, this is a client of mine who's been married to Alan for years, but he has a little bit of road rage. And when she went out with him, she realized this. Now, for some people, that might be a deal breaker. For her, she wanted to understand, why did he get so upset when he drove? Now, red flag merely simply means ask questions. Now, for some of you, I get that that would be a deal breaker for you, but for her, she wanted to get to the root of what was going on. And this was a difference between the two of them. And she effectively began to tolerate this difference because otherwise she would end up resenting this person and ending the relationship, and she would have lost out on a great relationship. But beyond tolerance is she got to that place of understanding. When we understand our differences, and again, it could be that sloppy person, it could be one person's a night owl and one person's an early bird. And as I said earlier, the person who's bougie or fancy versus that person who's raggedy or casual. And we can come up with hundreds of these different examples. Coming to a place of understanding differences is starting to move into love. It's starting to move into commitment. And when we can get to a place of acceptance of our differences, we've really reached a level of love. Now, if we can go beyond acceptance and we can certainly appreciate the difference we might have with another person and maybe even adore it. My friend Ariel Ford talks about in her book, Wabi Sabi Love, of a man who used to eat poppy seed bagels every morning, and there would be poppy seeds all over the kitchen. And his wife was radically pissed every time this happened. But then she realized one day, if those poppy seeds were gone, so would he. So what she realized that she didn't reach just a place of tolerance, understanding, and acceptance. She goes, I actually appreciate this because that lets me know he's there. Now, he didn't happen to clean it. She cleaned it up every Sunday morning. But when we can reach a place of, as I said, tolerance, understanding, acceptance, appreciation, and maybe even adoration. It's very rare that we look at a difference with adoration. But if we get that, we're bonding with another person. We're accepting them from a place of love. So what's it going to take for a man to fully commit? What must happen? Well, as I said before, they have to be open and receptive to love. Because if you're not open and receptive to love, if you're not open and receptive to another person, it's going to be radically difficult. And sadly, most people, as that woman was talking about, modern dating is just to cure boredom and loneliness. I'm going to repeat that. It's just in many cases to cure boredom and loneliness. If you're not familiar with my chart of the 3 people who are actively dating, you might want to check this out. By the way, right there, here you'll see this is not a fact. It's merely an opinion. I say roughly 20% of the population are users. These are people that seek short-term gain. They're love bombers. They're players. They're gold diggers. They're entitled people. They only care about themselves. And while the next category I call spenders, these are people who seek companionship, connection, and sex. They have no direction. They're uncertain. They're fearful, usually have a dysfunctional life. They see you. They spend time with you. You are a placeholder. And the last category are grower builders. These are people open and receptive to love. They're emotionally grown up. They have good relationship skills. They have their act together. They seek long-term commitment. And while I say it's 20% of the population, I get some flack to suggest it's not that. But I will say to you, people who are open and receptive to love, they've done the inner work to heal their past relationships, to heal their childhood wounds. They're stepping into this space that I'm going to talk about next. Because without this, people aren't going to fully commit. And you have to be receptive for this to be able to experience this. And that is appreciation. Appreciation. If a man can't appreciate you for who you are, he can't fully commit to you without appreciation. It's one of the building blocks. And yet I see so few men and women actually expressing appreciation for the person in their life. Let me repeat that. So few couples actually spend time in gratitude about having this person in your life. And that saddens me to witness this because, at the end of the day, some people say love is a choice. Well, I think love is the choice to appreciate what you have, to really be in a state of gratitude, to look at this person and go, I am grateful. I am lucky that you are choosing me in your life. And if a man can't say that, if he's not in that space, then it's highly doubtful he'll be able to experience genuine commitment and care for you. And sadly, I see too many women chasing after men, hoping that the man will change. If I just give him more love, he will appreciate me. And as I said in the beginning of this broadcast, if he's not capable to receive love, if he's got childhood wounds and adult traumas that blocks him from being open, ready, and capable for love, just because someone wants connection doesn't mean they're capable, ready, and open for the kind of connection you might be able to provide for this person. And so a man and woman, this isn't singular to men, but a person has to be receptive. They have to be open. Can they receive your affection so they can appreciate what you give? Think about that for a second. Can they receive? They have to be open to receive. Do you know how many people now? I've noticed something, that there's a significant percentage of people who are people pleasers. They're constantly giving to others. But you know what that oftentimes is? Also a block to receive from someone else, because to be in control, to give, allows a person to be in control of it, but to be open and receptive to receiving, to be open and receptive to appreciation. Because without appreciation, I don't care if it's a man or woman, it's going to be radically difficult to commit to a person. And this is what we see. And I would say one of the reasons why this block is, they have unresolved past relationships. It seems to me that many, and by the way, this is something I work with clients. By the way, if you see the link right here to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. One of the things I do in my private coaching is called radical honesty, pre-qualifying your prospect. This is about asking those real tough questions early on to determine what is their emotional health, what is their capacity to be able to appreciate you. Because just remember, just because you've been indoctrinated to believe that men are the leaders of the relationship and men are supposed to hunt and men are supposed to pursue and men are supposed to chase. Well, just remember, oftentimes when men are hunting, they're pursuing and they're chasing. They're pursuing, hunting, and chasing physical intimacy. That does not necessarily mean they want a significant relationship for you. So you have to remember, when a man is driven by his lower chakra, if you will, that is not an indicator of whether or not he wants to commit to you, nor does that mean he's even capable to commit to you. That doesn't mean he's capable to receive what you have to give. That doesn't mean he's capable of appreciating what you have to offer. Just remember, if a man is chasing you, particularly from a physical perspective, that is no guarantee, that is no indication of his capacity to lean into a healthy, or as I always say, a juicy, delicious, healthy, happy relationship. Is this sinking in with you? Is it resonating with you? Please let me know. Have you experienced this where a man has stated he genuinely appreciates you? And if you have, has that man fully commit to you? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Please post a comment below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. As always, if you find value in my videos, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos. And if you want to connect with me directly, there's a link below to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. There's a link to join my group called Midlife Love Mastery. There's a link to follow me on Instagram. There's a link to get all the books I recommend listed below.